Most small business owners and e-commerce founders, they spend several hours posting the same deals across multiple platforms. That is their social media platforms, their email list, even their websites, and they still end up missing customers, especially on Black Friday. So I built this AI-powered workflow that does it all in seconds, and I call it the Smart Deal Broadcast AI Agent. It's basically an end-to-end automation that takes one form submission from Notion, generates your captions with AI, and then instantly broadcasts your deal to your subscribers in Brevo. And the best part of all this is that it can easily be extended to other channels. That is your social media platforms, could be WhatsApp, could even be your own website as well. I know that Black Friday is right around the corner, and for most businesses, this is the best time to lock in sales, especially before the holiday season begins. And I'll say that this workflow as well handled everything for you. It would handle like writing your copy, sending the emails, and with just one upgrade, like I said, you can even go ahead and update your website, all from a single click. And as usual, I'm going to show you exactly how I built it. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the exact workflow like you saw from the demo. And as you can see, I have my Notion trigger and I have my Brevo here as well. I'm going to show you exactly how this was done and configured. So I'm starting first with my Notion trigger. In order to have this set up, you first need to have like a Notion account. If you don't have a Notion account, you can get it for free. And I mean, there's a lot you can do with a free version. So you can either use a free version or you can use a paid version. I have a paid version, so I just keep to it. I have a database in Notion. I call it deal submissions, and you can basically even build a form on top of this. So instead of coming in to type into this database, you can have a front end, which is a form, so that when your employees or yourself, if you come in and like you want to like during Black Friday or you have a sale coming up and you want to sort of like broadcast this to your customers, then all you have to do is like you just fill out the form and it will populate into your database. If you don't want to go with the form option, you can just use the database. So I have this database in here and I have specific fields, like I have the deal title, I have the product or service, I have discounts, valid until, I have description, image, keywords, links. I have a number of fields in here, and these are things that you can customize as well. It doesn't have to be the same fields I have in here, okay? I'd say that give as much information as possible. Again, if you also don't want to even pull from your Notion database, you can even attach your Shopify store. If you have a Shopify store, instead of using Notion, you can always use Shopify, and that would be your trigger. And I'll show you how you can do that in Anytime. But really, this is what you need. You first need to have like a database. And once you have your database, make sure that you connect it to N8N. In order to do so, you just have to click on the three dots here. And then what you have to do is click on connections, you click on add connections. And if you haven't already added N8N, you can always do manage connections. And what you can do is you can basically connect and configure N8N in here. So I already have my N8N configured. So really what I just have to do is I'm going to click on connections. And then if I click on add connections, I would see N8N. I already have my N8N configured, so it's not going to show up. But really, you first need to configure that. And then once you have that configured, it's going to show up here. Just know that anytime you are connected N8N to Notion, like a database in Notion, you always need to make sure that you have enabled a connection on that database. Okay, so that is all you really need to do. That way, Notion can communicate to N8N. So I'm going to go back into N8N. So in here, I already have my Notion credentials set up with N8N. So in terms of poll times, I'm saying every minute. If you're going to be using this for Black Friday, then maybe it really depends. You can gauge this, like how many times in the day are you going to be dropping prices. If you're doing it like every hour, then you can ask this to poll it every hour, so that once it polls it, like it will take the updated price and update your subscribers or your customers. Okay, so in terms of the event, I'm saying it could also be on page added in database. Like if you add, that means that anytime you add like a new deal, it's just going to trigger the workflow as well. So that's good. I'm just keeping it as page updated in database because I'm not adding any new fields. And then in terms of, it's asking me which database am I trying to get information from. So I'm using the deal submission database. And if I do like a fetch test, you'd see that I would have the information given to me over here. Like as you can see, I have data from the output here is really data from my Notion database. So that is how Notion is really configured. And like I said, if you don't want to use Notion and you want to use Shopify as your trigger, all you have to do is like select Shopify. As you can see, if I scroll down and I come to triggers, they have about 59 of them. So if I scroll down, you see like if product has been updated, right? So if you have a Shopify store, you can basically also do this as well. Basically copy, connect Shopify, and then you just say that if your product is updated, then trigger the workflow. And a good thing with the Shopify is that it would also give you details about the products, the descriptions and everything. So you don't have to do like so much work because then you don't have to manually type it and everything. Okay, so I'm using Notion. I'm not using Shopify. Moving on. So I have this edit fields node here, which is just to clean up the data. I'm just trying to extract what's important to me here. So I'm just extracting like the deal title, like the Notion trigger. It gives you so much information, like things I don't really need, which is why I am just really like extracting the information I need in order to pass it over to my AI agent node to work on. Now that I have all the information I need, if I should just execute the step here, you would see that it's just giving me a lot more like some cleaner information that I need here. So of course, I don't really need status. I can just take that out. You can also have like an image link. And this is something that you can even enhance this workflow further. You can connect it to like the Sora API and you can generate a video out of it. Or you can even connect it to like Google Gemini to generate an image for you. So it really depends on how crazy you want to go with this whole deal alert workflow or agent. And as usual, like if you can't build it yourself and you want me to build it for you, I can as well. I'm also going to drop the templates to this workflow in my school community. So if you haven't joined my school community, you can join it for free. I post all my tutorials, all my templates. That's where I keep all of them. So you can join my school community. I'm going to drop the link to the school community in the description box or in the comment section as well so that you can join for free. So once I have all this information extracted, I'm passing that on into the AI agent node in here. And in terms of the prompt I'm using, I'm not doing anything sophisticated. Like I said, this is like the basic workflow. There's a lot you can do on top of this workflow, right? So the basic workflow, I'm just saying like you're a social media marketer for like a small business and I want you to create an engaging post caption and 5 hashtags. Okay, so again, like I said, if you want to even go ahead and like add photos and everything, then you can even make this a lot more sophisticated. If you want to generate videos, you probably just need to connect it to like one of the video generators and you'll be able to do so as well. And then I'm passing in all the necessary information I need to be able to run this. It gives you the option, like you can add other things, like if you want to have like additional options. I'm not adding that, so we can just keep that as it is. And then I'm going to click on execute. So as you can see, this node is executing right now. So this is the output you're getting, okay? And the reason why we're having this specific output is because I added a structured output parser. All I wanted was the output and then 5 hashtags, okay? So in my structured output parser here, I have specifically said that this is how I want the structure of the output to look like. And this is the structure of the hashtags I want. So you can see I have one output and then I have 5 hashtags, just as I requested. Now, the next step is where we connect it to Brevo, okay? And this really depends on like what email list platform you use. It could be MailChimp, it could be Brevo. I'm using Brevo, so that's how come I connected my Brevo account. If you don't have a CRM, like you don't have a mail list platform that you use, then you can also use Google Sheets. This is where you can also decide to connect it to Twitter. So for instance, if I wanted to connect it to Twitter from the AI agent node, I could always just connect it to Twitter as well. If you don't want to connect it to Twitter, you want to connect it to WhatsApp, you can do so. There's so many different ways you can take this whole automation to. You can take it to like the next level and you can even connect it to your own website. So if you have like a WordPress website, then you can also publish it. So like anytime a new deal comes in, it gets updated on your website, it gets updated to your like customers who are on your subscriber list, it gets updated on your social media platforms. Like there's so many different ways. You can even send an email about this as well. So I think this is great. If you use Brevo, then you know that you can customize templates as well. Again, this is like the basics. So I didn't really customize any templates. This was just really simple. And so I'm just sending in the fields, like the subjects, the text. It's gonna ask you like the sender email and then the recipient's email, and then you include it. This is where it comes in handy. If you already have a template, then I'll recommend you use a template so that it's formatted and it looks a lot more nice, a lot more pretty. And so if I should execute it right now in Brevo and I check my email, you'll see that this message has been sent to my email. So as you can see, email has been sent for me, and this is how the message came as. Again, like I said, you can customize this message, you can make it look pretty, you can have it as you want it to be. Really, like you can't like there's no limitations in terms of how creative you can go with this. Now let me show you what you need to do in Brevo in order to ensure that this whole thing works. So I'm gonna come back into my workflow because in N8N you need to have like the API keys and everything sorted out. So I'm just gonna go into my Brevo account, and when you come into Brevo, all you have to do in order to set up your API keys, you just have to select settings. Once you click on settings, you want to scroll down to SMTP, and then you select API keys, and then you have your API key here. So all you have to do is click generate a new API key. And then once you generate a new API key, you use that API key as your credential and N8N. And the other thing you need to take into consideration is you need to authorize your IP as well. So when you come into security, click on authorize IP, and then you can put in your IP address as well. You put in your IP address so that N8N, especially if you are like self-hosting like myself, you put in the IP address so that Brevo does not block it thinking that it's a bot or it's like an intrusion or something like that. All right, so I'm going to come back into my N8N workflow. Like I said, once you get your API key, you just click on create credentials, and then you enter your API key here, and then you test this. As long as you have your IP address authorized, it shouldn't fail, it should work. So yeah, that is it really for today's tutorial. Like I mentioned, there's so many other use cases that this can be applied to. There's so many dimensions in which you can take it. So I know that Black Friday is around the corner, so I wanted to do something that would be very helpful for business owners, e-commerce founders, coaches. I mean, if you sell courses and you want to be dropping the prices during Black Friday, this is an automation that you can use as well. Like if you want to be dropping the price like during certain times of the day, then you can have it all automated and ready to go for you so that you can focus your time and your efforts on Black Friday doing something else that would be a lot more productive for you as well. But yeah, that is it for today's tutorial. Like I said, you can join my school community. I have a lot of templates in there that you can download and try it out yourself. If you want to get started with N8N as well, you can send me an email. If you want me to build an upgraded version of this template as well, you can send me an email. I'm going to leave my email in the comment section or in the description box as well. But that is it for today's tutorial, guys. Thank you for always sticking with me, and see you in the next one.